What do you hold on to when everything else lets go? When the world beneath your feet trembles and the familiar suddenly feels foreign, what becomes your anchor? In those moments when the ground gives way, literally or figuratively, our instincts search for something, anything, that will not move. We reach out, desperate for stability, for reassurance that we are not alone in the chaos. When life's storms rage and the ground beneath you feels unstable, where do you turn? The sky darkens, the wind howls, and the earth itself seems to shift. It's in these moments of uncertainty that our true foundations are revealed. The storms of life come in many forms: loss, disappointment, fear, or sudden change. Each one shakes us, testing what we've built our lives upon. Life tests the foundations we build. Sometimes what we thought was solid begins to crack. The things we trusted, our plans, our strength, even our relationships, can falter under pressure. We realize how fragile our sense of control really is. In these moments, we seek something solid, something that won't crumble under fear and pain. We look for shelter, for a place or a presence that can weather the storm with us. It's a natural response, a longing for safety and certainty when everything else is uncertain. Imagine a violent storm, the wind howling, rain blurring the world into chaos. The noise is deafening, the force overwhelming. You can barely see what's ahead and every step feels unsure. In the midst of this, your heart races, searching for something to hold on to. This chaos mirrors our inner turmoil when life turns upside down. The waves of anxiety, the clouds of doubt, the relentless winds of worry, they threaten to sweep us away. We feel tossed about, powerless against forces beyond our control. In these storms, we often find ourselves asking deeper questions. What truly matters? What will last? Where can I find peace that endures, not just for a moment, but through every trial? Yet amidst the storm, imagine a deep peace, a quiet strength anchoring your heart. It's not the absence of trouble, but a presence that steadies you. This peace is like a gentle light breaking through the darkest clouds, a calm that defies the chaos around you. This peace comes from God's unfailing love, a foundation that cannot be shaken. Like a mountain unmoved by the wind, or a lighthouse standing firm against the waves, His love remains constant. It is a promise that endures, no matter how fierce the storm. It's a promise whispered into chaos: I am with you. Even when the world is loud and frightening, that quiet assurance can be heard by those who listen. It's a voice that cuts through the noise, reminding us that we are never abandoned. This love is our anchor in the fiercest tempests. When everything else is swept away, it holds us fast. It's not just a comforting thought, it's a reality that has carried countless people through their darkest nights. We see it in the stories of those who have faced unimaginable loss and still found hope. We see it in the quiet courage of someone who keeps going, even when the way forward is unclear. This love gives us the strength to endure, to rise again after we've fallen. God's promise isn't a life free from trouble, but a love greater than any trouble. It's a commitment to walk with us through every valley, to be our light when the path is dark, and our strength when we are weak. His steadfast love will never be removed. No storm, no failure, no fear can separate us from it. It is the one thing we can count on, the one thing that will not change. His covenant of peace stands firm, a beacon of hope in the darkest nights. When all other lights go out, His remains guiding us home. This is the promise we can build our lives upon, not on shifting sand, but on the solid rock of a love that endures. It's a foundation that will hold, no matter what comes. When everything else crumbles, His love remains. It stands when all else falls, a testimony to His faithfulness. It's the solid rock when all other ground is sinking sand. In every storm, in every shaking, you can stand firm, held by a love that will never let you go. To grasp Isaiah 54:10, we must journey back to Israel's exile. They were far from home, feeling forgotten by God. Their hearts were heavy with despair. Into this suffering, Isaiah speaks hope. God promises a future brighter than their current darkness. He assures them His love is more enduring than the earth itself. This promise was a lifeline for a people drowning in despair. God speaks directly to their fear of abandonment. Even if mountains vanish, His love remains. His commitment is more enduring than the physical landscape. Their story was not over. Don't just watch. Let this message strengthen your heart. Subscribe today. Mountains have always stood as symbols of strength and permanence. Their sheer size and ancient presence make them seem immovable, unchangeable, as if nothing could ever alter their form. For centuries, people have looked to the mountains for inspiration, drawing courage from their silent endurance. They rise above the world, weathering storms, enduring the passage of time, and standing tall through every season. In the scriptures, God uses this powerful image to help us understand the nature of his love. Just as mountains seem to last forever, so too does his love for us. But even more than that, his love surpasses the strength and stability of the mightiest peaks. Imagine for a moment the unimaginable. Mountains crumbling, their rocks breaking apart, their cliffs dissolving into dust. Even if the most solid things in our world were to collapse, God's love would remain unshaken, unwavering and stable. His love is not dependent on the world's stability or the calmness of our circumstances. Storms may rage, clouds may gather, and the world may feel uncertain, but his love stands firm through it all. It's the one constant in a universe of change. No matter what happens around us, no matter how the landscape of our lives shifts, his love remains. What an incredible thought, that in a world where everything else can change in an instant, his love is the anchor that holds us steady. The world is constantly changing. Seasons shift, weather transforms, and even the mountains themselves are shaped by time. Yet God's love is permanent, untouched by the forces that alter everything else. His promise of compassion is not just a passing feeling, but a binding agreement. It's a commitment that he has made, a promise that cannot be broken or revoked. He has bound himself to you with a love more enduring than creation itself. His love is not just strong, it is eternal, radiant and unwavering, shining through every circumstance. When life shakes, when the ground beneath you trembles and everything feels uncertain, you can stand on the unshakable reality of his love. It is a foundation that will not move, no matter how fierce the storm. His love will not and cannot fail. It endures every trial, every hardship and every change, remaining steadfast and true. His love is more reliable than the ground you walk on, more trustworthy than the earth beneath your feet. You can step forward in confidence, knowing that his love supports you at every moment. It's a covenant, a solemn promise, sealed by the one who never breaks his word. This is not just a hope, it's a guarantee, a sacred bond that endures forever. His love is the ultimate security, the shelter that protects you when everything else feels uncertain. In his love, you find peace, safety, and belonging. It's the foundation you can build your life on, a rock that will never be shaken, a love that will never let you go. This ancient promise speaks to our modern lives. We all experience moments when our world falls apart. Think about your life's foundations. Relationships, careers, health, these can crumble. In these moments, Isaiah 54:10 is a lifeline. God's promise remains when life's mountains shake. His steadfast love doesn't change. He doesn't promise a life free from loss, but his love is the unshakable foundation. It holds you secure when your world trembles. In the aftermath of devastation, it's the quiet stories that linger. Stories of people like Sarah, whose marriage crumbled unexpectedly, leaving her world in pieces. She once dreamed of a life filled with laughter and companionship, but instead found herself surrounded by silence, the echo of broken promises filling her days. Sarah felt discarded and utterly alone, as if she'd been left behind in the ruins of her own life. The weight of isolation pressed down on her, making each day feel heavier than the last. Friends tried to comfort her, but their words often fell short, unable to reach the ache deep within. In her darkest moments, Sarah turned to the only place she could find hope, the pages of her Bible. Isaiah 54:10 became her anchor, a promise she clung to when everything else felt uncertain. Though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. The world around her might shift and tremble, but God's love remained constant, a steady presence in the storm. This truth didn't erase Sarah's pain or magically restore what was lost, but it gave her a solid place to stand. She learned that even in the rubble, she could find footing on the foundation of God's love. Slowly, hope began to return. Sarah realized her value wasn't defined by her circumstances or by the love of another person, but by God's unshakable love for her. This realization brought a gentle peace, a quiet strength that helped her face each new day. Then there was David, a craftsman whose business was his pride and joy. When he lost it all, he felt as if his identity had been stripped away. The empty workshop echoed with memories of better times, and David wondered if he'd ever find purpose again. David wrestled with feelings of failure and disappointment. He questioned his worth, believing that success was the measure of a man. But in the quiet moments, he found himself drawn to prayer, seeking comfort in God's promises. Gradually, David discovered that his worth wasn't tied to his achievements or financial stability. Even as he faced uncertainty, he sensed a peace that surpassed understanding, a peace rooted in the knowledge that God's compassion wasn't dependent on performance. Through Scripture, David learned that God's love and mercy were freely given, not earned. This truth became a lifeline, helping him let go of shame and embrace a new perspective. While his problems didn't disappear overnight, David's heart began to change. He found the courage to face each day, not with fear, but with trust in God's faithfulness. Each sunrise became a reminder that God's love was his ultimate security, a source of strength that could not be shaken by loss or disappointment. In the calm after the storm, both Sarah and David discovered something unbreakable, a love that endured through every trial, a hope that rose from the rubble. Their journeys remind us that even when life falls apart, God's love remains, offering strength, hope, and a new beginning for all who seek it. Share this video and be a blessing to someone in need of hope. What does God mean by a covenant of peace? It's not a life free from trouble. The peace God promises is His presence in the storm. It's an internal peace, a calm knowing we are held by a loving Father. This peace is like a submarine beneath a hurricane. The storm rages above, but you are safe below. God's covenant of peace provides deep security. It's not found in worldly things. It's a gift from a relationship with Him. It's the result of His unshakable love. This is the unshakable peace of His covenant. Paul speaks of this peace in Philippians. It surpasses all understanding. It's a peace that exists despite circumstances. It's a supernatural peace. This peace guards our hearts and minds. It protects us from fear and despair. How do we receive it? Through prayer. Turn worries into prayers. Trust God hears and cares for us. This trust opens the door for His peace. It's a beautiful exchange, our anxiety for His peace. Reflect on your life's foundations. Have any begun to tremble? Life reveals the instability of what we trust most. This isn't despair, but hope. Shaken foundations invite us to find footing on God's love. Loss of lesser security leads to discovering the greatest security. See your trials as signposts to a stronger foundation. God is present in your pain. Transfer trust to the one who cannot be shaken. Discover the unshakable nature of His love. Isaiah 54:10 declares against our greatest fear, being alone and forgotten. In pain, we feel invisible, like God has turned away. But God's word is clear. You are not forgotten. His compassion hasn't run out. He sees your struggle and knows your pain. His love is a binding commitment. It doesn't depend on your strength. Hold on to this promise. Let it be your anchor. God's love is more real than your problems. You can get through this not by your strength but His. His covenant of peace will hold you. You are seen, known, and loved. Trust in His promise. It's the most solid ground you'll find. Stay connected. New Bible study and encouragement videos every week. Don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay encouraged.